My number is 828-328-44. Called your mom.
Got him! Got him!
What's up? Trashy opening clip aside, today's video I have something special. From me and Kaden adventuring out of Spawn to secrets we found with newfound talents. I hope you enjoy and don't forget to like and subscribe to fill my ever-growing ego. Now, trying to improve from the last video, I'm doing a voiced over for most of this video, just to try to keep it a little bit more interesting. But don't worry, once we get out and away from the spawn area, there'll be a little bit more to enjoy and for us to do other than just walking and trying to escape from the general area where it's impossible to survive in. So if you leave down in the comments what you would like to see, whether that's me and Kaden looking for bases to raid or big videos of us building a base together, tell me what you'd like to see and I'll try to get that content to you. Alright, thank you. At this point, Kaden and I had decided to leave the highway to see if there was anything to be found off the road. Now luckily we had found these trees so we can start something more than just walking. We were now able to get materials and food and finally start our journey outwards from spawn. We explored around the forest a little bit more and found a hut. It was a little oasis away from the chaos of spawn surrounding it. One of my favorite things about this server is the stories to be told by signs and the history they tell. We learned just a few days earlier, before recording this, that people had built this as an escape for new players, and to fight against the Team No Trees on the server, and bring a little bit of hope, and hopefully help people escape the chaos, destruction, and pain of getting out of spawn. See, I wasn't gonna include this clip, but then now I am. I'm just honestly including it to tell you how bad I am at recording videos and getting content. Not only is it a little bit hard since we're in spawn and we just have to walk and escape, but in general, I'm pretty shit at this. So, luckily you're still in this video if you still are. You're 2 minutes in, so congratulations, you survived 2 minutes of me and Kaden being total dumbasses and me speaking in a monotone voice because I have no expressions in life. Now, this is my excited voice. How do you feel? Congratulations. Please insert content.mp4. Now me and Kaden had found this little island of signs. It had a little flower to give players hope and chests filled with nothing but lost hope and dreams. Now most of these signs were just players saying that they had made it this far, complaining about how hard it was, wondering what they were supposed to do next, or telling me how shitty my YouTube channel was. So I had decided to follow Kaden down the bridge to see what was on the other side. Again, nothing too interesting, like the rest of my videos. But we did find a little well-kept base. Although it looked well-kept on the outside, it was about as barren as my YouTube channel. It had a little abandoned mine going down to bedrock that had been completely used for all of its ores, an abandoned farm, and my lost hopes and dreams. Me and Kaden ended up stumbling upon another little ruins right beside a lava cast across the highway. There isn't anything too much interesting, but if you do notice, I'm still on half a heart. Instead of trying to get up off of half a heart, I figured, yeah, it's fine, let's explore around. Now Kaden was in this little coliseum type building, and I figured, oh, I'm gonna come in, but not through the doorway. And I had found out through this experience that 4 blocks will kill you. And I'm back at spawn. And dying again. And again. And again. See, the great thing about being in spawn is that I can keep dying until I end up on a highway and have a little bit of hope until I jump in lava and die again. Now, at this point, I hadn't really thought we would go too much further. I figured I'd catch up with Caden, we'd continue walking along the highway to get to 10,000 by 10,000 blocks like we had planned for the video. But I had found a little something when I was walking through the nether. It's nothing too special, but for me and Caden, since we hadn't found much on this server, it was a whole treasure. Everything about this was everything that we could have ever hoped for this video to have. I just stumbled upon a little nether portal, and I figured I was a little bit low on health, so I'd go in and see if there was anything on the other side, like apples, but mostly to see if I was close to Caden. Now, I wasn't close to Caden, but I had found a village, finally, content. Finally, this video won't suck ass, and I won't regret uploading it in 2 months. But, like everything else that I'm going to upload, it was still pretty shitty. With a monotone voice and no expression possible, this village was a village that me and Caden could finally raid. I had gone back into the nether to retrieve Caden and tell him to come and experience this village together. I figured it'd be better to raid it with him than alone. So I brought him back to the village and we decided to start exploring. Now, what we hadn't noticed before was this village was actually fully griefed. It might not look griefed in good old 2B2T fashion, where it's nothing else but a crater, but sadly this village had been mostly ransacked. We end up walking around and exploring for a little bit, and we get some stuff out of chests, nothing too interesting. We get a bunch of coal and like a few pieces of iron. Other than that, there's nothing special about this village. It's an empty raided village. But I had found a hole, which looked like a giant build project. And it held this entire replica of a nether fortress that they were trying to build, again, before the base had got ruined. Now you might notice something a little bit different on my screen. Me and Caden had logged in, and it's the next day, but we had logged in with a hack client. We figured if we wanted to do anything on this server, we would need one, and that's correct. We had used it to explore around the base, and there was nothing left. What we had found without hacks was everything. So we ended up strip mining and getting diamonds, just so we could continue along and feel a little bit safer about traveling around this barren wasteland. Now originally I was gonna keep the original audio clip in this, but little did you know, unless you watched my first video, my voiceovers are more interesting than my actual voice, even when I do have expressions like excitement. Me and Caden, since we were new players, normally you don't raid little mob stashes like this, but we figured that we'd check it out. Luckily we did, because we found shulkers. Now shulkers on this server are a godsend. They allow you to carry more than your inventory, and with the amount of stuff you have to carry to stay alive, it's what you need. Lots of them were building shulkers, but Caden had found a combat shulker with fully equipped diamond enchanted armor, elytras, OP weapons, and a little bit of content for this channel. Thank God we finally have something to show. Now, I'm monotone in this voice and I'm monotone in the video. It's about as interesting as I get. But we had finally found a little something, and we had something to make us feel safe. Not only safe, but excited to get started on the server, because we finally had stuff that weren't just noob gear. We were able to use hacks to find a little stash, what me and Caden think was used to raid a dupe stash from another base that was long gone by now. Now, not only with hacks is this armor findable for us, but it's more useful because we can use stuff like auto-equip armor and auto-totems to keep us alive during these horrible battles we will eventually get in on this server. Now after this, there's a long clip. You can see we're 7,000 blocks away from this point. We had finally made it. 10,000, 10,000. Our goal had been accomplished. That's it. Yeet!